that we understand the power that is in our hands, or the power that joy has and the power that laughing has. Yo, laughter is definitely cheaper than therapy. This podcast will be full of laughter. Scratch that. There definitely will be some tears. But I can assure you that this is a safe space of healing and expression, like an auditory hug. Welcome to the Therapy of Laughter podcast. Bow, hey, get it one time, get it two time. First episode. Hey, chicken noodle soup. Where did that come from? Welcome to the Therapy of Laughter podcast. I'm your host, Eileen, and welcome to the first episode on the Therapy of Laughter podcast. I'm so happy that you guys have joined me on the first episode. This is new. This is great. This is refreshing. I'm so excited. I hope you guys feel fulfilled and blessed listening to this podcast as much as I feel fulfilled and blessed doing this podcast. To be very honest with you, I got this new mic. Well, it's new. It's new to me. Anyways. I got this mic and I'm so happy. I've been playing on this mic for like a week straight. Every day I just plug it up to my phone and just record random nonsense because I just love how it sounds. So I hope it's blessing your ears as much as it did for me for the past 2 weeks. As I was getting prepared for this first episode, there was like two things that I really want to make sure happens in this podcast. One, that I'm prepared. So I did a lot of planning. And two, that this is the most organic and authentic form of communication, media. I just want this to be real. I'm going to be very honest with you. I've restarted this podcast probably about 5 times already. I felt myself getting into the mode of like wanting it to be perfect and stuff like that. I would like mess up on words and I'm like, you know what? I got to start it again. And I'm like, wait, pause. This is not what it's all about. It's really about being real and expressing life issues and life's experiences and how you combat them with laughter. So you know what? If we mess up in this episode, we mess up. If we get it right, we get it right. Hopefully, because I got to do some things later on today. So I pray to God that this is the final one. And I pray that this actually is blessed because I am not restarting this again. So yeah, like I said, so back to number 1 where I said I wanted to be prepared. As I was preparing for this podcast, I was like, yo, what should the first episode be named? I'm like, should it be like Laughing Ain't Easy? Anybody who knows me knows that I'm really good at finding catchphrases. So I was like running through a whole bunch of things I should call this episode, and I got nothing. Like nothing. Like not a thing me get for the first episode. I'm like, okay, do I be basic and just say episode 1? But like, nah, bro, I'm extra. I want it to be, oomph, like bam, like bidding bam, like it catch your eye on things. And so I was like, you know what? I give up. Let me just go on Pinterest, scroll. I love going on Pinterest. Shout out to all the Pinterest users out there. I think they need to they need to add a black girl feature so you don't have to keep on typing it in after you like type in what you're looking for. Like, like when you're typing in like, oh, braid hairstyles, black girl. Like, bro, it's unnecessary. It's 2020. You guys should already have that feature. Anyways, that's not what this podcast is about. So as I was on Pinterest and I was scrolling, I saw this clip art that was really cool, and it had the word endorphin in the middle of it, and it had the painkiller underneath it, and it was like really aesthetically pleasing. So obviously it caught my eye, and I look at the what's it called, the clip art, and I see something, and it says laughing out loud as one of the things that trigger endorphins, which are the painkillers. So then I was like, all right, let me investigate this a little more. So I went on Google. Shout out to Google. And I came across this website that said, I think it was WebMD. Nah, it wasn't WebMD. It was something else. I'll put the citation lower in the description so that I won't get plagiarized for this. So basically what they said was that endorphins are a large group of peptides produced in the central nervous system and the pituitary gland. I'm reading, guys. So if this is not being pronounced properly, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And they act as opiate receptors. They reduce pain and release pleasure, and they're released in the response to stress or pain. These things are important to reduce stress, and they help us function despite injury or stress, like I said before. And these things, things that cause peptides, which are endorphins, endorphins to be released are eating, drinking, exercise, and most importantly for this podcast, laughing. Laughing out loud helps to release endorphins, and endorphins are the best natural painkiller. I find in the Black community, we have the ability to laugh in spite of. And I thank God for that blessing of being able to laugh in spite of. Like, I would say probably about a few months ago, I'm not good at remembering time spans, but I feel like it was a few months ago when there was a release of rumored that there would be a World War III. And the way that Instagram and Twitter of the Black community took that information by force. They had that information by its neck. The way that Black people were trying to strategize how they were going to get out of going to war, or if they ended up being in the war, how they would win the war and stuff like that. Now, this is a serious issue. I am not trying to take away from the gravity of the situation of World War III possibly happening, but the way that the Black community really combated this with humor was absolutely magnificent. I feel like that is like the height of intelligence. The Black community didn't even know. I'm saying the Black community like I ain't Black. We, the Black people, engaged in a biological, psychological process that we didn't even know, that like, laughing and looking at the humorous side of things, or looking at it from a humorous view, not in a way of gaslighting it or dismissing the issue, can help make things more manageable. And even for the protests that were happening in June, I believe in June, early June, late May, for George Floyd. Rest in peace, George Floyd. Black Lives Matter, and I pray that we'll get better at. I pray that there will be change. Not we will get better. I pray that there will be a significant change. But anyways, during that time, it was really hard for the Black community. I know so many of us had to like take times where we were not be on social media, or like find some other things to watch besides what was going on in our world. And even in that, Black people found a chance to either not make light of the death, but make light of the situation, or they would make funny videos about like being at the protests all day, or just funny things that they would make, and just honestly help you laugh in that hard situation. And like, that is what I've become so appreciative of for honestly in this season of my life, that I'm like, I appreciate my ability, or I appreciate the ability to laugh even when I don't feel like laughing. And that reminds me of a personal story that I have. I remember I had failed. I failed a psych exam. It's so funny I'm talking about psychology or like a biological process, because to be honest, psychology really kicked my behind. I love psych. Psych just never loved me. Oh, glory. Anyways, so I failed a psych exam. I think it was I think it was like a neuropsychology exam. It was. And this is my second time taking this course. Yes, I remember. It's coming to me like a painting now. I failed that exam. I opened that book and knew nothing. And at that very moment I started crying because I'm like, yo, I really want to graduate as a psych major, and I just don't think that is possible right now. At that moment I'm like, yo, like what does my life come to? Like my parents sent me out here, and I'm not even amounting to what they want me to amount to. We wow. Anyways, um yeah, so I was really really sad. I walked out the exam early cuz I just didn't know anything on the exam. Mind you, I studied. That's another thing. I didn't walk in there and not study. I studied. So I walked out early because I'm like, I just can't. I don't know anything else. I've answered all the questions I could have answered. I walked out the exam and I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk home because if I go on the bus and start crying, that will be the highlight of my embarrassment for the year. So I decided to walk home. Now at this time it was like 9 p.m. Yeah, it was around 9 p.m. 9 p.m. and I live up north meaning Canada. And in Canada at 9 p.m. in the wintertime, it is black outside, like midnight. Okay? Black. And I decided to walk home. So I'm walking home crying. And I'm like, yo, how much worse can this life get? Like what am I gonna be? Like a wash up? Like I can't like not do school. So I'm crying. I finally get home and I open the door and I feel this warm, furry thing brush up against my leg. And I'm like, and it's moving. It's moving. I look down and I see a cat. A cat. A cat, a live, living cat. I'm even stuttering because thinking about it now, it just makes me upset. A cat. I'm like, this is the devil in flesh. Can you imagine? A cat follow me in my house? I said, no, sir. This is a device of the enemy. I promise you. I see my roommate on the couch. All I looked at her, I just screamed. I'm like, there's a cat. And I close the door. I lock her in there with the cat because guess what? Me not deal with that. I can't believe I did that. I just locked her in there with the cat. I just locked her in there with the cat, bro. I locked her in there, guy. And then, so I'm on the lawn, and she is screaming. Like shout out to Ose. I'm so sorry. Ose is screaming, Ose is screaming. The cat is bouncing on the walls. Ping, 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 ping. I don't know. That, I tell you, that was a living witch. I bind it even now. The cat was just bouncing. And this Asian guy, pause. This guy saw me on my lawn screaming. And he's like, that's not your cat? My guy, what do you mean that's not my cat? I just looked at him. I'm like, no, that's not my cat. I'm like, come get it out of my house. So he comes in my house and he stands he stands there like I didn't ask him to come get the cat. Like the man's just stand there frozen. I'm like, guy, come and get the cat. Go upstairs. It's upstairs. Get the cat. So he gets the cat. He gets it out of my house. And now it's just me and my roommate, Ose. And I am just hit with the realization that I failed this exam. I walked out early. I believe some type of witchcraft just come in at my house, and I just stand on the couch and I start screaming. I will insert the clip. Hopefully Osei still has that video. I know she still has that video. I will insert the clip. Those who are listening to this podcast, somehow, some way, I will drop in the audio of me screaming. And those who are watching this on YouTube, I will drop in the video of me screaming. I was screaming to all Timbuktu. I don't know why I was screaming. It was just the pain, like just the frustration. Like my head a hot me, boy. Anybody who knows, like I just start screaming. I'm at the top of the stairs. I didn't even take off my backpack. I just had my jacket all bundled up, everything, but still in my outside clothes. And I'm standing on the couch and I'm screaming. I'm like, oh my gosh, like look at my life. Like I hate this place. Like I don't know what it is. Like when you have bad experience at your university or the town that your university is in, you just start to hate the city. So I just start screaming. I'm like, I hate this place. And as I'm screaming, Osei is laughing. Like, I'm looking at this girl like, are you serious? This girl is cackling. I mean, her belly is busting. Like, she is laughing. And I just had to look at her and start laughing too, because I'm like, yo, can you imagine? Look at what happened today. I failed this exam. I know I'm kicked out of my major now. I can't just follow me in my house. Now I have to go pray and plead the blood and reanoint this house again. And all I could do was laugh, because it's like, that's the only way that'll make me feel better. And we literally look at the situation where like we just started laughing. And I honestly, this is so bad. I'm so sorry, mommy. But when I found out that was the exam that pushed me out my major, I just started laughing. I'm like, yo, God, this is in your hands, guy, because at this rate, I've done all that I can. But yeah, I don't think that we understand the power that is in our hands, or the power that joy has, and the power that laughing has. Laughing can turn around a whole situation. Like I come from Caribbean culture, so Jamaicans laugh about everything. Like even at funerals, like you find a way to laugh. It's so bad. Like so bad. But you find a way to laugh. Like whoever is like wailing the loudest, like I always come home and like make a joke about it. It's not funny, but it's funny. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think we understand the power that joy has, and laughing in the spite of situations, and like just looking at it and being like, you know what? This is hard, but we'll get through it. We'll keep pressing. Like we'll live another day. And all I want to say at the end of the podcast is that laughing ain't easy, but it's definitely worth it. It will make pain more manageable. It will make stress more manageable. And that's something that I've learned in my lifetime, that laughing has really, really helped me endure some really, really hard times. And that's the tone that we're going to set for the rest of the Therapy of Laughter podcast. As long as the Therapy of Laughter podcast lives, I want that to resound in every single episode, that laughter is not easy, but it's worth it, and it will help you get through a lot of situations. Trust me on that. Because even I'm supposed to be closing this out, I feel like I'm a pastor. You know when pastors like 5 more minutes? But no, like as I'm talking, I just think of like more situations. Like a lot of people will look at me and they'll be like, yo, like you're so funny. Like you're always laughing. You're always joyful. Not knowing that day was probably the worst day that I've ever experienced that month. And honestly, just turning around and smiling has helped me get to the next day. So yeah. That is my final. I'm actually closing right now. My final is that you can get through everything. Just remember, you keep your laughter. Don't let anything take away your laughter. And I want that to resound in every single episode. Like I said before, I will see you guys on the next episode. I'm so excited. I feel like this is just going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing time. And I hope you guys continue to enjoy the Therapy of Laughter podcast. I'm your host, Eileen. See you next week and hear ya next week. Yeah?